Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem, Yahawashi, Bashem, Rahakadash. Yahweh being the name who the world ignorantly calls God, Bashem coming in the name of Yahawashi, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of Yahweh, coming in the name of His Holy Spirit. This is a testimony that the Lord put the Spirit on me to give, thankfully and rightfully so. He had some brothers over at Great Millstone have the Spirit jump on them to jump on me to bring it out. There's been times that I've been wanting to bring this, revelation or whatever one might will out unto the world, but the Lord would always take the Spirit off me when I'd go to, project it. I don't question the Spirit, I just roll with it, because I walk by faith and not by sight. I look for the things that are eternal, so I got to do that in the Spirit and the faith of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi, and this testimony includes GMS having the 100% truth of the Holy Scriptures. I'm not affiliated with GMS, but I do study under the tutelage of GMS, and for those who don't know what GMS is, it's Great Millstone, and they do have the 100% truth, and the Holy Spirit had led me unto those men there, the ones that rule well, the elders, apostles. So I'd like to give double honors unto where it's due and give it to, the men that rule well over there. Shalom. I'm 37 years old. I don't really like to talk about myself, but it kind of goes hand in hand with the testimony and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi. 37 years old this year, in human years, in my vessel or whatever. Spirit's most likely older than that. But I was an atheist for damn near my whole life. Didn't believe in religion, spirituality. I wasn't a spiritual man, but I was a wicked man, and I didn't know it because I was deceiving my own self. One morning, it was back in 2018, and it was February 3rd, around 6 a.m. in the morning. And normally I don't remember times or dates or anything like that, but this day, and this very moment in particular, was something that would change my life forever. I was sitting on my porch, and I live in Michigan, so it's freezing cold outside, below 32 degrees, below freezing. So I'm cold, and I'm getting ready to go back in the house because I was out on the porch just thinking upon things, mulling stuff over, what was going on with my life. I was miserable. I was in a real dark place, dark way, and I don't know, I just was like, I'm going to go in, it's cold. So when I got up out of my chair on my porch to go in the house, I have a storm door on my house and then an entry door. I went to go open the storm door, and something caught me in the corner of my eye. And I look up, and it's blinding bright light. It was like a big ball of light. Well, it looked big from afar, and it was up to the northeast, but it was the size of like an orange or a baseball. Okay, this bright light. And it comes screaming down from the clouds, and there was 4 of them. But it looked like one when it was coming down, and it happened so fast. They were coming down, and they were doing like a screeching ee, like a high-pitched, like humming, vibrating ee, and it was ringing in my head and in my ears, but it was more so in my head. It was so loud, and it was scary. And it got closer and closer, and the closer it got, it started multiplying, and one orb turned into 4, and they were goldish, white, yellowish orbs, but they were more so white, and they were so bright. It was brighter than the sun in the sky. And anyways, they come down, and they shoot into my chest, okay? 4 of them. 3 of them hit me in my chest, but the way I was holding the outside storm door, it was like I was partially entered, getting ready to go into the entry door. So they maneuvered really fast. They came down in a straight line, and they had to maneuver around the edge of the storm door from where I was holding it. And 3 of them hit in my chest, and 1 didn't make it in my chest. It hit me closer into the shoulder. And they shot into me, and they went right out my back, and I turned around to look where the fuck did this go? I never seen nothing like this in my life. And mind you, I'm not a spiritual man at the time. I didn't believe anything like about paranormal or what this world would deem paranormal or any kind, like a faithless, wicked person. And they shot out my back, and then they went up into the sky down my driveway, but back up into the sky, and they went back up from whence they came. They went back up to the northeast. And when they went out of my back, it felt as if they took something from me. It left me fatigued. I felt like I was like a 5,000-pound anvil. Anvil's like something that you pound metal on, like you forge swords with or whatever, and what will you? And I felt heavy like that, like a big heavy weight, came over me, and I was drained and fatigued, confused, whatever. And I'm thinking and reflecting on this for like the first 3 to 5 seconds after they had gone back up into the sky. Oh, and then when they went up into the sky, they clustered back together again as one ball of light. Okay? And anyway, when I'm having, thinking about what the heck just happened, another ball of light comes out. Same color, but it was one singular ball. And it was huge when it was coming down, but the closer it come down, the smaller it got. And it got to about the size of a grapefruit or a softball for sports. And so it was bigger than the first ones that were like the size of an orange or a baseball. If anybody of you know sports, and I know you eat fruit. But anyway, this one ball came down, and as it got closer, it started slowing down and slowing down and slowing down until it was like in slow motion. And it wasn't super fast like those first balls of light that came, right? And anyway, when it came down, the closer it got, it started doing, like, because it was humming and vibrating too, like the first balls. And then the closer it got, it was vibrating and humming, doing like an E at first, like the first ones. But then the closer it got, it started slowing down, and it was like, do, 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 do. And I don't know if any of you, like, I'm almost 40, so I'm kind of like young but old school. I don't know if you remember the Jetsons cartoon. It was an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon. The Flintstones was made by the same people. But they would fly around in their little space car, and where they would go, the exhaust would like do 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 do. So it was doing the same noise, but it was like fluttering sound, right? And I didn't know anything about the scriptures, never read the Bible, nothing like that. But looking back and going into the Bible after finding out, more about what the heck just happened to me, like I started seeing light descending from the heavens, which the heavens is the sky, as you all know. Light descending from the heavens, and it come down fluttering like a dove. Do, do, do. And if you ever heard a dove flutter its wings, which we have turtle doves in our driveway and whatnot, and they have, offspring and whatnot, and like they mate together as a mate until they die, so they only have one mate. But that's besides the fact. Anyway, when they fly around and they flutter their wings, and it makes like a snappy noise, like similar or likened unto the do 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 of this light coming down. But anyway, I'm getting off pace. I don't mean to go off or anything. I'm just really excited, and I'm thankful unto Yahawashi for putting the spirit on me to actually bring this out, because I'm a man that doesn't like to keep anything from anybody. I'm completely transparent, but the Lord has been making me meek, and He's been reserving me. And, I haven't come out with this. Every time I would, get in the spirit to make a video about this or any other thing in particular, the Lord would instantly make me cold, and He would remove the spirit. So I've always stayed away from making my own videos, and I more so rather been going, and I love washing the feet of the brothers in this truth. So I like to help out posting scriptures for them and all of that, because I'm like a scriptural Rolodex. Like, scriptures are always running through my mind. It's a talent that's been given unto me by Yahawashi that I'm blessed to have. And it's a privilege. It's a privilege to serve Yahawashi. It's not our right. It's a blessing and a divine privilege. Remember that. Anyways, the light came down, this big ball, okay, and it hit me in the middle of my eyebrow line, right here. And when it came into my head, it pushed my head back. Like, it was soft and gentle, but it was like, all right, let's not put Yahweh into a box, but let's say if he had to be gentle with his men because he knows we're human and he could destroy us at any given time just by looking at us, let alone touching us. But I like to liken it as he took his thumb and he pushed my head back ever so gently, but pushed my head back. And you got to think, before when I was talking about how I was like a weighted anvil and tired and everything, like, I was completely fatigued and dazed. So when this orb came down and supplicated and went into my head, I pushed my head back. And it was like a moment where I had the sense of all knowing. I didn't know all things, but it's like everything started making sense. Everything that's going around, why I've, been cursed my whole life, and then it led me to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, and like, holy shit, that's why I'm the way I am. Like, I have a lot of afflictions, so it made sense. And I thank Yahawashi first and foremost for turning me over to GMS, because this is all going to lead up to me, seeking out the men of the Lord, or who I believe to be the men of the Lord, which is the men at GMS, at Great Millstone. And anyways, they turned me on to the Bible in Deuteronomy chapter 8, and that was the beginning of this. But anyway, when that orb pushed my head back and gave me the sense of all-knowing, it gave me energy. I used to be a drug addict, years ago before I got into this truth. I did so many different substances, and I glorify it not. Complete wickedness. I was a drug dealer. I was everything but righteous. And I didn't even know what righteous was, because there wasn't a righteous bone in my body. But anyway, back to the point, it gave me so much energy that no drugs in all of this world could ever boost me the way that that special orb did. And it was like it was a complete ball of energy, and it was like a warm blanket of sunshine wrapping me up and coddling me and just caressed me, and it felt like pure love. Like, not a feeling, just like an action, right? And it illuminated me. It opened my mind, and knowledge just started flooding in, and I ain't never seen nothing like that before. But anyway, after that event, physical things had happened to my body as well. Like, I had a cavity in one of my teeth, and I don't get cavities very often, never really had many. But I had a cavity in my mouth, and it was like the size of the end of this pen. It was like damn near the whole tooth. And I kid you not, for this is not a jesting matter, 7 days after this had passed, in the cavity in my mouth, I don't have any cavities, but the cavity in my mouth had disappeared in 7 days, left no signs of decay, nothing. It healed my tooth. I also suffered from an astigmatism with my eyes for like the last, 10 years. Well, now I haven't suffered from it since 2018 in February, but I had astigmatism with doctor-prescribed lenses for my eyes. One eye would see closer and not as far, and the other would see far but not as close. So I had poor vision and had to wear prescription glasses everywhere I went. Couldn't read or see much without them. And the orb in that morning, it corrected my vision. It made it so I need not glasses anymore. I have 20/20 vision now, and the optometrist where I used to go and the physician is wondering, how in the heck don't you need glasses? Like, my tests are, it's non-existent, like the problems I had. So it was a medical anomaly to them, where us men of the truth, we know that it's a miracle of Yahawashi Yahawashi. Kahalayim la Yahawashi Yahawashi Ba'ashim Rahakadash. Like, what's not to say about, being able to love him? Like, how can't you love Yahawashi Yahawashi after seeing such miracles or witnessing such miracles? Now, y'all might not have seen any of these things, obviously, but I'm living, breathing, walking testimony to his light. Like, it's an actual light, as you've seen from the beginning of this video. But anyway, it didn't stop there with the physical things. I'm physically disabled, been disabled for over 10 years now. I get a disability from the federal government. So I'm not able-bodied to go out every day or, do and bear the elements like these great men do when they go out and teach the Lord's word. And shalom unto them. They're hard, and the Lord is showing his might by raising up the underdog to go and carry out his will. And I got a lot of reverence for the men that are out there in that truth doing the work. So shalom unto you, brothers. It means a lot. And so it's easy to give glory unto Yahawashi Yahawashi, seeing the men of the Lord, do the will of the Lord and do it seeking righteousness. We all do the will of the Lord, whether we believe it or not, know it or not. But we either do it for wickedness, after our own wicked lusts, or we do it seeking his righteousness. And the only one who can put us there is him. So all praises, honor, and glory be unto him. Alright, I've been going off again. I'm just really emotional because I've been meaning to get this out for the last 2.5, 3 years. And I've told people, but I didn't tell Hebrew Israelites, because at the time it happened, I didn't know I was a Hebrew Israelite. It wasn't made known until I come across the men in the truth over at Great Millstone. So I'm sitting there telling, what we would perceive to be as heathen nations. So they looked at me like I was crazy. Still do, I'm sure. Now that things are coming to pass that I've talked about, over the past few years, now they're seeing it and probably thinking, oh, maybe this guy wasn't so crazy. So anyway, people mocked, scoffed, scorned, and all of that. Get the label of being a schizophrenic, whatever. I'm a fool in the eyes of the world, but wise in the eyes of Yahawashi Yahawashi. Yahweh Ratazah, Yahweh willing that be the case. However, anyway, with the physical changes, me being on disability, like, I've had like a little bit of a gut. I'm tall statured string bean now, and I've been kind of skinny considering, I was never obese, but I had flab, and after that had happened, it gave me 6-pack abs, and I sit in a chair pretty much all day because my back is all messed up and it prevents me from going out and swinging hammer. I used to be a carpenter for many years, did all sorts of carpentry and other odd jobs as well, but carpentry was my profession. And anyways, it changed the physique of my body, but not only that, before I started getting and delving into the Holy Scriptures, into the Biblios, something told me, because I'd always be a clean-shaven man, something told me, and it was the Spirit telling me, it beareth witness, that you're not supposed to shave your beard. Like, I had this inkling that, hey, I'm not supposed to shave my beard. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to grow this out. So I told my wife, I'm going to grow my beard out. I'm never going to shave a day in my life ever again. And I haven't. It's been, going on 3 years since I've shaved. But anyway, which is in the law that a man isn't to mar or around the tips of his beard, So anyway, not only that, it completely changed my diet. Now, I know we're allowed to have, meats or, herbs of the field, but it completely changed my diet. It made me a vegetarian, so I don't eat meat anymore. anymore, and I haven't since that day on February 3rd. I woke up the next morning, and my wife was cooking, some of my favorite breakfast food at the time, especially in my wickedness, and it was scrambled eggs, which is fine, whatever, it's clean. And I still eat eggs. I'm a lacto-ovo-vegetarian, so I have dairy and eggs. But anyway, there's bacon, and it's the candy of meats. I'm pretty sure, I can't speak for anybody but myself, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us brothers used to, indulge in bacon, and I could eat pounds of it, for any sitting. And she was making scrambled eggs, bacon, and toast, and it made me want to vomit, waking up and smelling that. And I went outside and I did just that. I vomited, and I said, Mary, I can never eat that. And she's like, okay, and she thought something like I was fucked up. Like she's never seen her husband like this. I've always been, different in a bad way. But anyway, well, good in what this world would deem good. But anyway, in a bad way, likened unto righteousness. So I put off eating meat, all unclean foods, whatever. Then a few months later, after the light had come down, okay, I kept thinking about the light. It was something that I just couldn't forget. Oh yeah, and then another thing, when them orbs went into my chest and out my back, it left red marks on my chest, like burns. But I wasn't burnt, and they were hot going in, but not where you touch a hot stove or whatever, or you burn yourself with a candle or candle wax. It was less than that, but it left red marks and it was hot. But anyways, going off again, I do that from time to time, so it's Slovakia. My apologies. I had a dream one night, and I'm laying in my bed having a dream, and the dream was like more real than any experience I've ever had, except for on the porch with the orbs, and which I believe to be chariots as well. And how I know about chariots is through the men at Great Millstone. So the water for that. And anyways, man, the dream, this happened roughly 3 months after February, so it was like early spring or whatever, and in 2018. And I remember it as if I just woke up from the dream right now. Like, I don't have to write it down. Like, it's there, and I've been chasing this vision ever since. And I call it a vision because it's yet to pass, but it's going to pass. It is going to pass. Okay, I'm driving down the road in this vision, okay, and the sky starts turning like yellowish, orangish red, like really dark in hue and color, and it's hazy, like it's about to storm. Like, when the sky gets all gray and hazy, or when the chemtrails or whatever are getting sprayed and the sky gets hazy. It was like that, but it was reddish, yellow, and orange, like the sky was on fire. Okay? And I see, like, people crashing their cars into buildings, running people over, like a whole bunch of madness and folly is manifesting right before me. So I hurry up and I turn into this like big parking lot of this Kmart. It's down in the city. I live in the sticks out in BFE, buttfuck Egypt in Michigan. Excuse my language. So I'm driving to the city, and I thought I was going to like my mom's house because she lives, 45 minutes away in the city. So anyway, I pull in this parking lot, and it seemed like it was Bay City, and I pull into this place, and I see the same orbs are likened unto the orbs that I had on my porch while I was awake. And they were really particular in what they were doing. They were all different colors. There was blue, there was red, there was orange, green, yellow, white. And they were shooting into particular people, okay? And what this world would call, like, so-called African Americans, Native Americans, people like melanated, from what I seen. Like, I shit you not. and they were shooting into the chest, but it was all single orb. It would be one orb a person. And I knew what these orbs were, but I didn't know what they were. I didn't know they were chariots at the time because I didn't really investigate into what they were, and I didn't study to show myself approved at the time. That came, with age. It's like a fine wine, a new wine in a new bottle, a new me, a new dealing. So anyway, they're shooting in these people's chests, and there wasn't many people this was happening to, mind you. And I knew what these were. They were familiar. So I'm like, I got out of the car. I started running towards one of the people that just got one of these orbs shot into. And I say, hey, me, pick me, choose me. And I'm running towards the light. And these people they're going into their chest, and they're turning like, all right, if it was a red orb, it would make the person that it shot into turn into red, and their body started glowing, and it would be red. And it was shiny, bright light, and it was like it was a ruby. It wasn't a carbon-based life form at that point. It was before the orb went in, but after the orb went in, it became like silica-based, like a crystalline hominid, a human being. And they were going up into the clouds, not to be seen again, disappearing. I'm like, when I running at it, I was like, me, choose me. So one of them orbs started like doing a peculiar dance, I say, around me in a circle, spinning around me faster than, blazes, and humming and doing and it's making noise and everything or whatever. And it finally came in and it stuck me right in my chest, and I started turning yellow, okay, like a yellow topaz, okay. That's the best I can explain it. And I started becoming illuminated, and it started at my chest and worked its way down, and I started turning into a crystal-bodied human. And it got all the way down to my toes, the light, and I was completely transformed. And I was crystal. Like, I was crystal. That's the best I could describe it. And I was blinding, really bright and magnificent, where people were like this because they just couldn't see because the light was so intense, right? Like, it was brighter than the sun. And after the light became illuminated from the chest down, it started going up into my throat, and I can see the light in my throat. It was so bright, and it was like I was being x-rayed. You could see through me, but the light was coming out, projecting out so bright that, like, the others, it looked like all they seen was like blinders, like they could hardly see. And the light came up into my throat and into my head, and as soon as it filled my head and my whole body was illuminated, I seen the orb inside of my head, and it had funky looking characters, what I know to be Paleo Hebrew now, but I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe, it's Sanskrit, but it's not. It was Paleo Hebrew lettering, and I don't know what it said in it. I don't know, but it was like a few characters of Paleo Hebrew in there. And when that happened, when I became fully illuminated, like, all right, I got to go back to, like, the chaos and stuff, because there's tons of chaos going on. Cars were crashing into other cars because people were getting extracted out of their cars, driving down the road and getting taken up. And there was 12 of us all together, okay? Not saying, like, because I don't know if this was, Yahawashi coming back to get us, but I'm pretty sure it was. But anyway, there's 12 of us that went up. And anyway, when I became fully illuminated and all these screams and shouts are going and people are staring and they're like frozen in time because they could barely move. They were frozen in time pointing at the people going up. And when the light made me all illuminated and I could see the orb in my head with the what I believe to be Paleo Hebrew characters in it. Anyway, music started overcoming that, and it completely muted all of the background noise out, and all I heard was the most beautiful sound I've ever heard in my life, and music cannot compare to it here on earth. It sounded like like violins and um, shoot, harps, cellos, but it was more higher pitched, like not so much like bass, but it was higher pitched and it was fast music. And as that's happening, like I'm thinking about all the afflictions I've ever endeavored up until that point. Like all the things I've gone through almost dying multiple times, being plagued with illnesses, like having like being suicidal over many years of my life, and like a whole bunch of bad shit was going on in my head. And when that music started playing, it was like my brain or my soul was a hard drive, and it completely like erased it. Like all the affliction I've ever had was completely erased, and I can't help but cry now over this, but have tears of joy crying. And the Lord did that. I've never been able to cry tears of joy. But after having that vision and after having the light come down from the heavens that one morning, I'm able to cry tears of joy. The water Yahawashi Yahawashi for making me be able to cry tears of joy. Because he did something to me that day, or days. And he made me seek him. And anyway, as everything, like, and then when my body came fully illuminated, like, I have fibromyalgia, which is a very painful syndrome. There's no cure for it, except it be from Yahawashi and Yahawashi, and I have rheumatoid arthritis, which is, you die with these illnesses. And I'm always in physical pain. My body is, I'm a 37-year-old man, and my body is like I'm 60 to 70, give or take. And in that moment, in that vision, the Lord completely took that away, getting transformed into that crystal body, which I believe to be the glorified body that certain men and women will be given. He took away my pain, and I went completely numb from all of the afflictions, the mental, the spiritual, the physical, big time, in a big way with the physical. It completely took away my pain. It made me numb. It was like Novocaine in your gums when you go to get a tooth extracted. Now, I don't condone needles. I used to get my teeth pulled out, like my wisdom teeth, before I found the truth, but now I would just deal with the pain rather than getting jabbed or poked with a needle. But that's besides the point. Anyway, it would be like the numbing agent of Novocaine, but there was also yet some still filling left, like a tuning fork. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with a tuning fork, but it's like a piece of metal, a tool that you smack on something and it starts vibrating. Okay, I was completely numb, but I felt like a tuning fork. And anyways, as all this is happening, I go off a lot, so lucky for that. ADD or whatever, it's Jake. I'm Jake. So anyway, and I'm Brother Kazakh, that's my name. Anyways, I became illuminated and I became completely weightless, and I felt like I was the most powerful thing in the world. All of the energy of this world, whether it be nuclear power plants, coal power plants, thermonuclear missiles, any of that, like powerful, and we know that those cause like a great amount of energy. They had not jack shit on the power and energy I had. But now this is the kicker. This is the spirit and power of our Lord Yahawashi Yahawashi. Okay? I was the most powerful being on earth, I felt at the time. But yet I was completely powerless. Like, this is how powerful and magnificent our Lord is, and He is to be exalted in everything we do, and we can't glorify Him enough. Okay? I was so powerful, but yet I was completely powerless, and I couldn't move. I was frozen and getting taken up. I was ascending up and up, and I could look around with my head, but I couldn't move my arms, I couldn't move my legs, and it was like I was reclining back and watching everybody on the ground pointing up, pointing at the ones going up, and they were looking at us, pointing, frozen in time, and they were saying, what the fuck is going on, and things like that, like, where are they going? And the higher we get up, the smaller and smaller the world became, and they started looking like ants down there on the ground, right? And I got taken up into the clouds, and as soon as I got into the clouds, I woke up from the vision. And then I had to go to the same place to pick up my son in the same vicinity. I had to go to my mom's in the city to pick up my son when I woke up. So that was kind of weird. But all right, I've rambled on enough, so I want to pull out some scriptures, to, bring out that, talk about this, because after this all had happened, I was an atheist at the time, didn't believe in anything, never read a Bible. And that's what makes this testimony a lot stronger. At least I believe so, and the Lord put the Spirit on me to believe that, because man's goings are of the Lord. How then can a man know or understand his own way? He can't. And the Lord, he tries the reins of man, and the heart is deceitful above all things, desperately wicked. Only the Lord can know it. And he put the Spirit on me today to bring this truth out. And it's truth, because it's in here. And it happened before I've ever even touched a Bible. So, but, and so lucky for this. I want to bring out Wisdom of Solomon first, because this is like what's going to happen like in that day. Like, I think of this scripture with what was going on. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1-2. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they had looked for. Salakia, that they looked for. And it was strange. And people they didn't know what was going on. They were scared shitless. They were scared. They were petrified. But I was familiar with the orbs, and I believe them to be chariots or angels of the Lord. And I'm fully persuaded in my mind. Everything I speak of. The Lord, after the orbs came down me on the porch, they don't let me lie. Everything that I say, I know to be true. And I've been wrong before. But when it comes to this, nobody can dissuade me from the power and the Spirit of Yahawashi and Yahawashi. Nobody can take that away from me but Him. I won't allow it. But anyway, let's read that again. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1-2. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account for his labors. They didn't make account for any of his labors. Like, they could care less. The world doesn't care about us. They fucking despise us. We're trash to them, and that's all there is to it. So when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. And I mean terrible fear. This isn't something to fucking play around with. This is serious. Like, what's coming, what I experienced in that vision, it's nothing to play around with. These people have no fucking clue. And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. Oh, what's that? What's going on? Can't believe my own eyes. They were quaking in their boots, shivering, trembling, and people were pissed. And I also heard, before I was illuminated with light, He's here! He's here! And I believe they were talking about Lord Yahawashi and His holy angels. And He's here! We messed up. They knew they messed up, man. And anyway, it shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. If that isn't a strange vision that I had and experience, I don't know what the heck is. You don't see that. Nobody's seen that, ever. Except for in the book of Revelation, I've come across it. John the Revelator speaks of it. But other than that, this world has never seen nothing like what I just explained unto you. This is the Lord having mercy upon us. Akim, Aqua. Be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they had looked for. Meaning, everything that, we've looked for in salvation and what, the oppressors, the, religions of the world as well, all the mountains had, deceived the whole world into believing what is true and what's not. They're going to be amazed so far beyond all that they had looked for. And I believe what I'm telling you and what I've experienced is the great and strange salvation in the coming of the day of Son of Man, Yahawashi. Okay, now let's go. And there's gonna be plenty of meat left on the bones. I'm apologizing for rambling. It's just I'm just so excited, and I feel a debt of relief to get this off my chest. Because sitting on something like this, and a man like me, especially, I have a hard time not saying anything about anything. I'm not very meek when it comes to, letting people know how I feel and all of that. So the Lord's been reserving me for this day to allow, the true believers of Mashiach Yahawashi and Heavenly Father Yahweh a chance to hear it. So anyway, the book of Isaiah 12:5, or not 12:5, 12:1, or yeah, my bad, Slovakia. Isaiah 13, verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Okay, when I had the vision, I got turned into like yellow, and I was pure. You could see through me. I could see through me because I could tolerate the brightness of the light, but the people of earth, the worldly people, they couldn't tolerate it. They had to like hide from it because it was just so fierce. Like blazing daggers in the back of these people's eyes, blinding them. Something so precious and precious unto our Lord Yahawashi. But anyway, Isaiah 13 and 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Okay, now when we go and look up the word Ophir, when I bing it, it says the golden wedge of Ophir. Rather, pure gold of Ophir. Ophir is mentioned as gold region in 1 Kings 9:28, 10:11, 22 and 48, Book of Chronicles, yada yada yada. It also says, and this is the part that I want to get to. It says its locality is uncertain. I mean, it's uncertain where a golden wedge of Ophir is derived from, or comes from, originates from. But it says gold of Ophir appears to have been considered especially pure. It's considered especially pure. I don't know what's more pure than turning a filthy, vile, wretched, decaying meat locker vessel and turning it into like a silica-based or life form, like a gem. A gem, okay? And keep that thought in mind, gem or jewel. Because I know the brothers that are deep-seated in this truth, they know where I'm going with this. Okay, let's see here. Pardon me. We're going to go right here. We're going to go to Zechariah 10, verse 11 through 17. Okay. As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, meaning the spilling of Yahawashi's blood, for the new covenant that he makes with the house of Israel, the Israel of Israel. And, the 2/3 and all of that, but that's another topic. The covenant that he made only with the nation of Israel. This doesn't go out to all nations. This goes out to the Israelite foreigners, the speckled bird, the diaspora, the ones that have been dispersed all over the four corners of the earth as a punishment for us transgressing the law of Yahawashi and Yahawashi. And sin is the transgression of the law, and the law is not done away with. Just so you Christians and you unbelieving schnooks out there know, the law is not done away with. We uphold the law to the best of our abilities. And that's important. I can't stress that enough. But anyway, let me start back over. Verse 11, book of Zechariah 9 and 11. Or wait. Yeah, 9 and 11. I'm sorry, I said 10 and 11 before. So, the book of Zechariah 9 and 11. As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. Meaning, there's no truth in this world. We're in a pit where this is shunned, where they don't want us having this. Because an educated so-called black man is an enemy to the state. They call us niggas, bywords. And Esau, Edom, and the rest of the heathen nations, they're the nigga. And they're about to, have our foot on their neck. Lord Yahawashi willing. And he's going to get vengeance against you, devils. Prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. Turn you to the strong. Hold ye prisoners of hope. That's right. We're prisoners of hope. We're hoping on all these promises that have been left to us from our forefathers, in the spirit and power of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh and Yahawashi, that he'll make good on these promises. And the Lord's a man that doesn't lie. Okay? And his ways aren't our ways, and his thoughts, they're not our thoughts. He creates the heavens and the earth. His thoughts are above ours. Okay? So, he's got a select chosen people, and that's the nation of Israel, for righteousness. And he's got select chosen people for the day of evil. And their day is coming soon. So anyway, let's get back to this. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. Yeah, you hear that? Think about all the wicked abominations being done in the midst thereof. The ones that we're sighing and crying over. Okay? All the onslaught of our heritage, of the African Americans, the Native Americans, and Latinos. All over the span of history. All the bloodshed, all the rape, the robbing, the murder, the stealing, like everything. Think about all of that. There's not, and I say it once in a while in brothers' live streams on the comment board, there's not enough paper in this whole world to document all of the wrongdoing that these heathen nations, and mainly in particular Esau, Edom, of Idumea, that's Greek for Edom, there's not enough paper and ink to document all the wicked abominations that they've done against our people, let alone the whole entire world, because they do it to their own people. They're fucking devils. The devil's a deceiver. They lie. They make you think that they're righteous and holy, but they're not. That's what the devil does. The greatest lie ever told was that the devil doesn't exist, or somewhere along the lines. But anyways, I'm going off and rambling again. Anyways, they're going to get double unto us, or get double from Yahawashi and Yahawashi is what they've done to us. So all the wicked stuff they've done to us, they're going to get double in return. Okay, so verse 13. When I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion. Raised them up. Kind of like, it makes me think about being raised up into the clouds that one fateful afternoon. And it seemed like it was like spring or summer when that vision took place, because it was warm, and I don't know the day or time. I didn't see anything like that, but it was warm, and it was like, it just seemed like it would be around after the noon hour. And it was still light out, but like I said, it was real hazy, and the colors were just wild. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. Let's get back to the scriptures. So, when I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man, like he weaponized us. Yahawashi and Yahawashi, changing us into that glorified form, is turning us into a weapon, okay, against, the sons of Greece, the Romans today, Mystery Babylon the Great, the ones that rule the earth today, and the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. So where and who is he? Esau, Edom. But anyways, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. And the Lord shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning, and the Lord power shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. The Lord of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones. And they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners of the altar. And the Lord their power shall save them in that day as the flock of his people. His people. Not the world's people, not your people. His people. I'm emphasizing on that because the Lord has a special people, and that's the nation of Israel. A people before a place. Them jokers over in Israel, they're not the Lord's chosen righteous people. They're the chosen ones for the day of evil. Just so you know. Amalekites, Edomites. Anyway, and the Lord, their power, shall save them in that day as the flock of his people. For they shall be as the stones of a crown. Okay, what do we think when we see, like, the royal jewels or whatever, a crown? It's got all these rubies, emeralds, sapphires, diamonds. Like, they're nice, shiny, and brilliant, with all these nice little beautiful facets that make them luster and have fire and pop. So when light hits it, it just beams off it like a mirror, and it's just brilliant to look at. That's what he's describing here about lively stones, or at least that's what I'm led to believe. I could be wrong, but I really don't believe I am. They shall be as the stones of a crown. They shall be, meaning that it hasn't come to pass yet. They shall be, as it will happen, shall be as the stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon his land. Lifted up as an ensign upon his land. We'll have free reign over this world under Lord Yahawashi, Hamashiach. For how great is his goodness. Words can't even begin to describe truly how great Lord Yahawashi, Yahawashi, and Yahawashi is. Like, I feel dumb and stupid saying, oh yeah, he's great and he's good, because that's not good enough. We can't exalt him or his holy name high enough. So we just beg and pray that our cries and our prayers can pierce through the clouds so that he can hear them. For how great is his goodness and how great is his beauty. It's marvelous. What's not beautiful about this truth? It's the most beautiful thing I've ever come across, and it's most precious unto me. And I'm sorry, I'm going to try to speed this up because I'm at the 54-minute mark, and I know I've already lost probably 90% of Jake out there that's going to listen to this. Oh, and then the date is January 9th, roughly 5:04 p.m. Eastern Time in Michigan. So anyway, let's go back to verse 17. For how great is his goodness, and how great is his beauty. Corn shall make the young men cheerful, and new wine the maids. That's beautiful. Alright, so now that we've done Zechariah 9, 11 through 17, let's take this little party to Malachi 3:14 through 17. Again, that's Malachi 3:14 through 17. Ye have said, it is vain to serve Yahawashi Yahawashi. And what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully? That's right, we're in mourning right now. Arise ye and depart, Jake, for this is not your rest. For the land it's polluted, and will be met with a sore destruction if we not wake up from our deep slumber. And it's all by the power and spirit of Yahawashi Yahawashi if he wants you to get this. This video is only for the ones who it's meant to receive it. And not very many people are going to be able to receive it. So anyway, let's do that again. Verse 14. Ye have said it is vain to serve Yahawashi Yahawashi. And what profit is it that we have kept this ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? And now, because we're prisoners of hope, we went into that previously. And now we call the proud happy. Yea, they that work wickedness are set up. Yea, they that tempt Yahawashi Yahawashi are even delivered. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another. That's, Yahawashi, that's men and women like us, in the congregation, in the brotherhood, kinsmen of the flesh, and most importantly, the spirit. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it. Piercing the clouds, heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him. Okay, for them, Salakia. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, Yahawashi Yahawashi, and that thought upon his name, Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi. Let's hear that again. Make sure you heard that. And that thought upon his name, Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi. Verse 17. And they shall be mine. This is the Lord. He's saying that we will be his. Lord willing, we're a part of that number, that we're the men. And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels. And I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Did you hear that, Israel? And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Kah halayim la Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rahakadash. If that isn't beautiful, then you're just fucking ugly. Make up my jewels. Wasn't I just telling you about the vision? He was turning men into crystal human hominid form, human body, and taking them up into the clouds. Dead fucking serious. This truth isn't nothing to be tread lightly. This isn't something to lie about. Fuck. And I'm like this because of how I've been mocked and scoffed in the past for telling this. So I'm pissed right off. But I'm also happy. And I'm blessed divinely by Lord Yahawashi that He's allowing me to share it with you today. This is a gift. A true gift of mercy from Him. So if you hearken not unto this word, this warning, I don't know how many more He's going to end up giving our people. He's fucking pissed. And there's men out there that I don't have to explain any of this to. They have enough faith, but a man can always use more faith. It's a superpower. And the brothers always talk about, the Lord raising up a standard against, our enemies, which is receiving spiritual power. And faith is one of the greatest spiritual superpowers that we as mortal men can even have. And I can testify unto that. Lord Yahawashi, roughly paraphrasing, says that we can move mountains if we have faith the size of a mustard grain. Mustard grain seed size amount of faith, we can move mountains, which is powers, as brothers know, strongholds or whatever. Alright, so now we're going to go into, shucks. Let's go into the book of 1 Peter 2, verse 4 and 5. To whom coming as unto a living stone, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High, and precious. Okay, that's talking about Lord Yahawashi. And when He got taken up, when He shed His blood on the cross of Calvary for us in Golgotha, the place of the skull, He got taken up and He was a marvelous light. Okay? And it talks about Him being a living stone. A living stone. I don't know if I've gotten the point across to you about the vision showing me that people, myself included, were getting transformed, translated, or transfigured into like crystal. But anyway, verse 4, to whom coming as unto a living stone, Lord Yahawashi, disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High, and precious. And how precious is He? He means everything to me. I put Him before myself, my family, and I hope that you do the same, because it's a privilege. In truth and sincerity, worship Him in spirit and in truth. It's a privilege. Verse 5, ye also, talking about the men of the Lord, ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, and holy priesthood, acceptable to the Most High, by Yahawashi Hamashiach, or Yahawashi the Anointed. Lively stones, brothers and sisters. I don't know if I could be any more serious and come clear, without being more stern. But this is serious. Like, this changed my life, made me completely drop everything that I used to do. I used to be a lover of my own self. I chased money, chased tons of bitches, which I know that it's lawful. We can have, many wives or whatever. And that shit ain't expedient in this kingdom. I have a wife now, and the Lord blessed me with her, and she's a good woman. But I never had one of those before. And I used to dog women out. Eat it, skeet it, and leave it. And that's just the way it was. Never, nothing meaningful. And I always got a portion of being a wicked man. So I'd get a wicked woman as my reward. And, yeah, that was wicked. All I served was my own belly. I was a deceiver. I was no better than Esau. And that's saying it lightly. But the Lord changed me and made me a new man. He made me put off the old man when the orbs came down to me in February 2018. So anyway, not to get off track, I just like to emphasize on certain things, like, this is serious. This is a serious matter. And this truth is all that matters. It's all that matters. And if you think differently, kick fucking rocks. I don't want you in my life. But now, if you hear the word of the Lord and it resonates with you, well, Lord Yahawashi's sheep, they hear his voice and they follow him whithersoever he goeth. And only his flock hear his voice. Because if you're not of his flock, you ain't going to hear him. This will all be like you're reading fucking Braille and you don't have no fingers. That's for blind people, if you don't know what Braille is. And you need your sense of touch to read the shit. So, figure that one out, Jake. Anyway, now we're in the book of Revelation. This is, John the Revelator. This is my man. And I highly resonate with this man and his writings, because what I see written in his book here, well, it's the Lord's book, but he's the author, and it's all Yahawashi inspired, because all scripture is, written by man, but it's inspired by Yahawashi. There's quite a bit of you understand and know that. But it's John the Revelator, and he's seen things that were similar to the things I've seen. Or I should say I've seen things similar to what he's seen. And mind you, I've never read this before ever having this vision or seeing the light, and while being, physically awake, not spiritually, but I was physically awake and I couldn't believe my eyes because I never believed in miracles. A miracle would be me growing weed and making $30,000 or $40,000 off of it in a 6-month period. Like, that would have been a miracle, serving my own belly. That was my miracles. No, that shit, none of that compares to the Lord's truth. Oh, and Tawada and Shalom to a couple of the brothers that the Lord had inspired me to come out and, give this testimony. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to, ruffle any feathers or anything like that. I don't think it would, but they know who I'm talking about. But I went to bed last night, and this is what it was, the final nudge, because I've been praying and praying to the Lord. I pray all the time to the Lord, but my prayers, and they always get answered and fast too. But I've been praying that He build me up enough to come out and bring out His testimony, and to do other videos too, to be able to do this, and been praying on it, and I haven't been getting no answer. Normally he'll talk, there's different ways that he uses to communicate. And no voice, I haven't ever heard his voice or anything like that, but he uses his men, the mouthpiece of him, and you just got to learn how to hear, or you see like certain animals or certain happenings that go on, all around you. You just got to be awake, not woke. They're still fucking sleeping, but awake spiritually, to this truth. And the Lord will open up all things to you and give us understanding and all knowledge, and wisdom and understanding. The ones that truly fear the Lord, He will do that. We're living proof. But anyways, Sorry to go off again. Anyways, I was listening to a brother. It's a great millstone, an elder from Mississippi camp. He's got the same name as I've been given as well. I think he spells it a little different, but he had a lesson, what was it called? Shit. The Lord will do a new work. Okay? And earlier on, I was on a live stream with a brother over in New York. Shalom, and he lit a fire under my ass. And he's like, he rebuked me. Like, you need to come out with some lessons. And Tawadi Yahawashi Yahawashi for having the mercy on me to have that brother, help kindle that fire. So Tawadi Yahawashi Yahawashi, Tawada Akya. And I have another brother over in Pennsylvania that he's been kind of drilling me. He didn't like the fire. He's just like, hey, man, like nudging me. So, Thawad on to you too, Akia. Thank you guys for all that you do. It's a blessing to have you. And I love you, brothers. I never met you or whatever. But Spirit, what's not to love about the Lord's Spirit? So, anyway, sorry to go off there and get all sentimental. But, anyway, shit, where was... Oh, yeah, the live stream that the elder brother did last night, like right near the end of it, this is what was the final nudge that Yahawashi Yahawashi, through his Raha Kadash, nudged me to come out with this hour and some odd long video that not many people are probably going to watch, but only the right ones will, because the Lord is going to, have the ones that need to hear it. But anyway, at the end of this, beloved kinsman, his live stream, he said something around the lines, and I'm roughly paraphrasing. He said, we're going to end up seeing the Lord do marvelous works, paranormal works. And he says that's what the world calls it, paranormal, but we know it as spiritual. And he's going to do amazing works, whether it be spiritual powers, chariots through the sky, this, that, and the other, in the downfall of our enemies. So that right there at like 2 or 3 in the morning my time initiated, and it created that chasm, that spark, the synapse in my brain, in my psyche, in my soul, in my heart, and that made me lunge forth, and it strengthened me and hardened me to endure, hardened to do this, video, and with hopefully many more to come, Lord willing. But Thawadi Yahawashi Yahawashi for that. And anyway, I figured, well, doing a new thing, what the Lord did for me isn't anything new, because I read about these things, these happenings happening throughout history in our, beautiful word that He's been so, kind and nurturing as to give us in these later days, to seek Him and have mercy upon us. It's not a new work, but it's something new unto the brothers and sisters. For I'm pretty sure no one's really ever heard a story, from a man that they can see rather than seeing it in words. So I hope that this reaches, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and it gives for great edification, and that it helps wake up, the Lord's lost sheep. Because that's what we're out here doing it for. We're doing it for the elect governing body, so that Lord Yahawashi's righteous kingdom can be established on this wicked fucking earth. And that's all that matters. And I don't care. I mean, I do care. I do want salvation. That's most precious unto me. However, if I gotta die for this truth, it's worth it. Like Apostle Paul says, I wish I could be accursed for my brethren, my kinsmen. For Hamashiach Yahawashi's sake. If I could, if my vessel was valued enough to die for the nation of Israel, I would do it. I would jump on that grenade, and love isn't greater than a man that, his life up for his friends. Are you ready to jump on that grenade, Israel? Because that grenade, that pin, it's about to be pulled. And I don't see many people getting ready to jump on that thing. So be ready. Alright, so this is the last, this one I'll close out with, and I'm sorry for rambling on. I'm just being real. What you see is what you get. And the Lord did that. He gets all the praises, honor, and glory because I'm just a man. And I'm nothing without him. But I wish I could, give up my life so that the Lord didn't have to die for us. We're pieces of shit. We're filth. And we're not deserving of such great mercies. So we need to have his kingdom established here ASAP because he needs to come home. Everything he deserves, everything is owed unto him. And he's so giving and kind that he's wanting to share it with us. And fear not, little flock, for it is our Father's, our Heavenly Father's, pleasure to give us the kingdom. So let's go into the closeout. Revelation 21, verse 2 through 4. And there's many more scriptures that talk about the things that I spoke about here today. It's just I believe in more meat on the bone. And I'm sure the brothers will end up picking this thing and correct me if I've said anything that would offend the Lord. Nobody's above correction. As the elder brother from South Carolina talks about, he said that before, and that really stuck with me. And he's right. Nobody's above correction. And it's not that we want to be right. We just don't want our brothers being wrong. Because it's those types of mistake that will get you destroyed. Every idle word that man shall speak, he shall make an account of there in that day of judgment. So, anyway, it's getting dark. Revelation 21, verse 2 through 4. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So, not Yahawashi, but Yahawashi. So Salaki on that. Coming down from Yahawashi out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard, John saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, which that doesn't even sound right after reading this. Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. There we go with that, his people again. So any of you Bible scholars out there, any of you demons, you want to say that the Lord is here to save everybody? No, that's just not, it's false. Quit spewing lies, your madness, your vomit. Go and eat your own vomit in the corner and stay the fuck away from us. And quit lying to our people. You're going to be handled accordingly by Yahawashi. You are going to be destroyed. So anyway, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And the Most High himself shall be with them, and be their power. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. And pain is something I know a lot about. For the former things are passed away, meaning, immortality. And there's, more pre's we could add to go into mortality or immortality. Like Paul writes quite a bit about it. Just me. But yeah, what that last verse that I wrote or read, that's what having my body changed felt like. No more crying, tears of joy, cry those, but no more pain. Completely powerless to the Lord, though, mind you, and He will get His glory. And in this mortal flesh, we're not able to give the glory unto Yahawashi and Yahawashi as He deserves. It's just not possible. But in that body, I can see why they talk about us glorifying the Lord day and night for all eternity, because we'll be able to. It's crazy. When the orbs came into me, in the vision or even on the porch, well, not the orbs into my chest on the porch, but the one in my head, and then the one in my chest in the vision, it was like people like to talk about being in love or whatever. Mushy, like they feel it like it's an emotion. But this was pure love. It was complete enlightenment, the knowing of all things. Because when I was going up, I knew all things at that point. Everything was made known to me. I just didn't retain it and bring it back because I don't know why. Probably because I'm in flesh. That's just something that I won't know until I get there, perhaps. But it was like pure love, and it was raw power. Like them orbs, raw power. So be not afraid, Israel, when you see them orbs coming. And the brothers are always posting pictures of the chariots all the time. And I see them up in the sky quite a bit. They look like shooting stars, just like the brother over in New York talks about. And same here. Like I can ask the Lord, I can pray, and the Lord will have them start beaming across the sky. When I ask and when I see them, it allows me to heal, and I can cry tears of joy rather than be mourning and sorrow. So, and it's an escape away from this wicked world. That's about all I have to say. I'm going to upload this on YouTube. This is my first video, so it's rough around the edges. The production quality is shit. You're not never going to get any better production quality out of my videos if I make more. It's not about the production quality. It's the production, or the quality of the message. And that's repentance, that's salvation, it's destruction to the wicked, it's brotherhood. Because you gotta love your brother, you gotta have charity. In charity, one of the biggest things that we can give, one of the most important things we can give is our time. Time is a precious, valuable resource. We're never going to get it back. Not in this mortal self, in this world. So when you give your time, you're giving a piece of yourself out. And Yahawashi and Yahawashi can get magnified through it. Because when people see this good fellow, man, he's doing something good. No, that's not me. There's no good in me. The only good that's in me is Lord Yahawashi and Yahweh, Father Yahweh, working through me to do good works, and then He gets the reverence and glory. So, take it what you will. But Shalom, Israel. Kol halal yamla Yahweh B'Hashem Yahawashi B'Hashem HaKadosh. And the Bod Babal.